What's up guys, this is Chris here, and today we're going to be talking about some awesome handguns. Today we're going to be going over 7 guns you could bet your life on. So we're going to be talking about guns that you could use for serious use, whether that's going to be concealed carry, whether that's going to be home defense, a duty gun, or a military role. All these guns are going to work for any serious use that you need. These are all guns tested by me and lots of other people as well, and they are all guns that had extreme reliability along with having good accuracy, ergonomic, speed. So if you're in the market for a solid gun that'll never fail you, this is a good list to start on. A lot of these guns have been tested by me and they've all been very reliable. However, some of them have better military track records than others, but all of these are going to be extremely reliable. So if you want one of these just because it's at number 7 doesn't mean it's a lot worse than number 1. So don't worry about it. If you like it, get it. That being said, before we get into the video, I do want to mention my patrons supporters. Thank you guys very much. You guys sponsored the ammunition for this video and we really appreciate you guys. Gave you the weird like presidential hand thing there. Anyway, you guys sponsored the ammunition for this video and we really appreciate you guys. If you want to help out the channel, that's the best way to do it. Just go down to the link in the description below. Also in that description is a link to a local shelter in Ames, Iowa. It's the YSS. Those kids could really use your help. So please go down to the link on this video description and every video description and donate a few bucks to those kids, and I'd really appreciate it. And finally, we want to thank our new channel sponsor, Brownells. Brownells has been helping us with our content for many years and we have been very happy with them over the years. Anything that you see on this video or almost all of my videos you can find there, including range bags, optics, accessories, gun cleaning kits, and many, many more. That being said, we'll get into it with number 7, the Springfield Echelon. I kind of figured I would put a controversial pick right away. It's not really controversial, I don't think, but it is a little less known than many of the other pistols on the list. This gun made a pretty big splash last year, and we tested the absolute shit out of this thing. One of the most ridiculous tests I've ever done on a handgun. We fired 2,000 rounds through this gun and we had very, very good reliability. On top of that, we also did an extreme reliability test, adversity test. We've drugged this behind a truck. We threw this a whole bunch of times, 20 feet, to see if it would work. We dumped it in mud, sand, and water, and the gun just kept on clicking. Now, we do have a full 2,000 round review of this gun if you want to look it up, and you can see all the details, but I'll give you the cliff notes right here. It is a 4.5-inch barreled polymer frame striker fired pistol that comes with a lot of features out of the box for the money. It is imported by Springfield, but it is made by HS products. And sometimes when they import these Croatian guns, just put a different name on them. I want to hate them, but I gotta tell you, this one's a rock star. It is a central operating group, very similar to the fire control unit of the Sig. So if you want to take that out and put in a different frame or put on some different slides, you can do that with no problem because it is the serialized part. That is basically how I imagine most handguns are going to go in the future, since it makes it so easy to customize them. It also has a pretty unique optics mounting system that allows you to mount tons of different optics right out of the box. And I was a little unsure about the reliability of that, so we tested that too, and we did an optic test on this Trijicon enclosed optic here that was also extremely crazy. If you want to see that test, we also have a video on that to show you the durability of the optics mounting system. We threw it in lakes, we beat it on barricades, I dropped it on bricks and concrete, I threw it off the top of my truck, and the thing didn't even lose 0. So I would consider at least this one sample not only extremely reliable, but very durable as well. The gun shoots pretty good also. With that 4.5-inch barrel, you get pretty decent ballistics. Think about Glock 17 size, and it has similar mags. Comes with one 17 round and one 20 round mag, at a total weight of only 23 ounces, making it a really good do-it-all gun. If you wanted to get a good duty gun with good features out of the box that you don't have to fix, like Glock for example, you can get this. It comes with good slide serrations, comes with HD sights, obviously the optic mounting system, and it has really good texture with a super good trigger as well. Now, it'll also work for concealed carry because it's not very heavy. If you want a little bit bigger gun and you don't mind a little bit on your waistline, it is a good gun for that as well. And there are many options because it was very popular last year, so it comes out in different colors if you're interested in anything other than black. I think they have FDE and OD. For an MSRP of around 670 bucks, you can usually find them for around 550 to 600. I would say it is a solid buy, especially considering the performance that we got on our gun. At number 6, we have one of my favorite guns of all time, the USP. The Heckler & Koch USP is one of the most reliable guns on planet Earth and has been for a very long time. One of the most military tested and proven firearms in history. It is a double single action polymer frame pistol. This one right here is actually the expert version with the 5.5-inch barrel and the long sight radius because I like to shoot long distance. I think we're at about 130 yards now and we're going to be shooting through some foliage. Yep. I really prefer this model, but the standard USP with a 4-inch barrel is extremely reliable and awesome as well. They're also very lightweight, so you can carry them if you want, and they are very safe guns to carry as well. Mine comes with a safety decocker and a long double action trigger, so you can carry one on the pipe and not have to worry about shooting your dick off if you carry appendix. Now, not only are they very, very reliable and proven durable designs, as most HK guns are, but they also happen to be very accurate and easy to shoot as well. The double single action system has been notoriously reliable throughout history because you get second strike capability along with many other factors, but this one here is more reliable than most, which is saying a lot. Now, the guns have a whole bunch of different models, but all the USP line is very reliable. If we're talking about just the USP Expert, you're gonna have to pay a little bit more. Those guns come in from around $1,000 to $1,600, where the standard USP, at least you used to be able to find them between $600 and $800, although they have gone up in price. Now, again, they are relatively light, somewhere between 28 and 34 ounces, depending on which model that you buy. Most of them come with 2 magazines. My USP Expert here came with 2 15-round magazines, but larger mags are available. I would consider the USP Expert to be one of the best WROL zombie shit hit the fan guns, just because of how extremely reliable those guns are and how loose they are with ammunition. And what I mean by that is this gun right here, the slide is so light and loose that it will run anything from super cheap 95 grain to frangible ammunition all the way up to 147 grain Sig Elite performance, and it's had no issues. On top of that, it comes with the green ring of death, which helps you be a little bit more accurate, even if your trigger finger's not. It also helps that the USP series has been in tons of different pop culture and movies that make them so second kind of cool. Now, if I remember correctly, in the Tomb Raider movies, I think Angelina Jolie carries one of these, and man, would I like to help her shoot that. I can't even watch the Tomb Raider movies with my wife because I feel like I'm cheating. In at number 5, we have one of my favorite guns of all time, the CZ P07. Not to be confused with the CZ P09 Nocturne, I can tell you that much, but the CZ P07 here has been one of, if not the most reliable pistol I've ever owned, and this particular model has been carried by me for a very long time, and not only do I love it, so I'm pretty biased, but I've shot an awful lot of rounds for it to prove just how reliable it is. This gun is a 4-inch polymer frame double single action pistol, which I would consider to be one of the pinnacle guns for concealed carry, especially for appendix, because again, that long double action trigger pull here will protect your nuts, and then if you need to, you can cock it into single action and have a very light and crisp 3.5 pound trigger. Now, the P09C is the Gen 2 version that we just released last week, and that gun actually did add some reliability problems, but I've never had any issues with the Generation 1, and they're about $400 right now, so I would recommend going toward that route, at least for now. The polymer frame is super comfy on my hand. I really like the internal slide rails because it allows less slide mass, and it feels like there's a lot less recoil when you shoot it. It comes with good sights. It comes with a solid pad for your thumb if you drive with your thumb, and I really like that. And then it also comes with decent texture, although we've had these Talon grips on there now for about 5 years, so apparently they're pretty durable too. The CZ P07 also has the safety or decocker. They both come in the box, so you can switch them out if you want. I personally run the decocker because I prefer that, but if you want to put on the safety, you can do that as well. Now, a 4-inch gun can flex into a lot of different uses. You can use this for home defense super easy, or you can carry it very comfortably because the gun is really, really light. At only 27 ounces, it's light enough to carry all day, and when you take it to the range, it's not going to be a slouch. It'll shoot fast and accurate as well. Now overall, I would consider the Generation 1 Sig P226 to be one of the best guns for the money on the freaking planet. The gun can be had for an MSRP of $480, but I've seen these down to $350, and for a gun you could probably bury under the earth for 6 months, take it out and shoot it and it wouldn't miss a beat, I would say it's money well spent. In at number 4, I have a gun that I don't have on the table because I may have loaned it out to somebody for a second opinion on a review.
Damn!
Ooh, he ain't getting this gun back.
But that is going to be my Sig P226. Now, it is one of my favorite guns on planet Earth, and here's a couple of reasons why. First off, if you haven't noticed, I like double single action guns, and the Sig P226 is one of the most well-known, reliable, and used and tested double single action guns on the planet. It was also carried by not only Special Forces, but the Navy SEALs specifically for over a decade with no complaints. In the military testing, which finally ended up on the Beretta, the Sig P226 was the most reliable gun in testing. It was just more expensive. The Sig P226 is a double single action aluminum framed, or at least metal frame because they have steel frames available, which traditionally has a 4.5 to 5 inch barrel. Now there's tons of variations of the P226. You can get light ones for carry, you can get the 229, which is the compact version, or you can go all the way up and get the Sig P226 X5 Legion with the comp on it, which, trust me, is a phenomenal gun. Now, if you want to go fast, if you want to carry it lightweight, or if you just want to have a solid home defense gun, there is a version of the P226 for you. One of the most reliable, accurate, and shootable guns on the planet. Again, it's hard not to love this gun if you've actually picked it up and shot rounds through it. MSRPs on the model start at $999, but they go all the way up to $2,000 depending on if you want comps, if you want magwells, if you want different sights, if you want optics mounts. Tons of different models are available, so there's a flavor for everybody. The standard models will be talking about here, and they usually MSRP for, again, around $1,000, but can be found for a little bit less. They come with a 4.4 inch barrel, 15 round magazine capacity, and they weigh an average of 32 to 34 ounces. Personally, it is a gun I've loved for a very long time, and I actually had a Sig P226 for home defense for quite a while, if that's an endorsement. Now, I love the P226 because it's very shootable. I love that it feels like a solid hammer-fired gun with enough heft to it when I shoot it, and it just makes me feel good about myself. I also know that this has been tested by tons of other people besides me, and they found similar results, so it makes me feel all warm and cozy inside when I put a magazine in, rack the slide, and I know the damn thing's gonna go off. Overall, the P226 not only has the reliability, not only has the accuracy and the speed, but it has that cool factor of being used by the Navy SEALs as well, so maybe that's a little added benefit if you pick one up. In at number 3, probably another controversial pick, but I wanted to put it on the list because of my personal testing. I want to put on the Wesson Combat CQB. Now, the CQB is a single action metal framed 1911. This particular one has 10 round magazines of 9mm, and it has a 5 inch government profile barrel. It has a inverted crown and a bushing barrel, as you see here, and mine comes with a fiber optic front with a blacked out rear, and then I have an extended magazine release with Wesson grips on it. Now, this was one of the first super guns I ever purchased, and I was a little concerned about reliability when I bought it because most of my life I've shot 1911s that had no problem, but I keep watching YouTube videos of people having problems. So when I first got into YouTube reviews, I actually picked up the CQB because I wanted something premium that I could shoot all the time, and I personally grew up on 1911s. The first handgun I ever shot was a 1911, and they are my personal favorite gun. Now, the Wesson Combat CQB is the only very expensive gun on the list. It is expensive too. You can find them from about $2,700 up till about $3,500. What you get out of it is a handmade, beautifully crafted 1911 the way your grandpa would have wanted it. It ran successfully from about 7 years ago until now, and we have thousands and thousands of rounds through my Wesson Combat CQB with no failures that I didn't personally cause. The most reliable 1911 that we've ever had on the channel, and actually does serve home defense duty frequently at my house, which again is an endorsement for me because that's what I use to protect myself. Well, if you want to pull a gun out of the box and you want to hit it 100 yards fairly quickly in 20-degree weather, I guess Wilson Combat's a good way to go. Now, I like the 1911 because I personally shoot it the best, and like Paul Harrell, I like the classics. But the other reason why I like it is because I know the thing's gonna go off. Wilson Combat makes the best mags for 9mm 1911s in my personal opinion, so if you get these and you feed it premium ammunition, you will have zero problems. Now, the benefit of the 1911 is that it has the best trigger in the gun industry. So if you get on it, most people can shoot it more accurately immediately than they can something like a Glock. Now, when you get on this Wilson Combat 1911 and you feel that beautiful, crisp 2-pound trigger pull that sort of feels like you climbed Mount Everest and gave Michael Jordan a high five, I doubt you'll go back to striker fired guns anytime soon. Now, there are some things that you have to overcome with the 1911. One is going to be that grip safety, which you got to make sure you have a tight grip for the gun to work. And the second thing is going to be the manual safety, which is what a lot of the YouTube gun reviewers seem to have problems with, which I understand. It is tough to remember to keep your thumb above the safety, and if you do that, everything will work out. Personally, I like to use it as a ledge, push down on it, make sure I don't accidentally engage it under recoil, and on top of that, you get a cute little recoil device to go with your gun. Overall, I think the Wilson Combat CQB is the most reliable 1911 we've ever had on the channel, and it might be my favorite gun. So, bias aside, I put it at number 3. In at number 2, we have my favorite wheel gun, the Smith & Wesson 686. Now, we have the Smith & Wesson 686, of which we've had many, many rounds through, and you guys are lucky because we're getting the 686 Plus here in a couple of weeks to do a different review on. But I figured I would talk about the classic here. We've had this gun for about 4 years in testing, and I shoot it very frequently because it's one of my favorite revolvers to shoot. It is a double single action revolver with a solid rubber grip, great sights with an HD front, and it comes with a 6-inch barrel. You can also find other variations, I think anywhere from 3, 4, 5, somewhere in there. Carry options are available is what I mean for the 686, and it comes with a 6-round 357 Magnum cylinder, although the Plus you can actually get a 7th round in, which I'm excited about. So you get 7 rounds out of your wheel gun, and trust me, this thing is reliable. I got this gun for around 600 bucks, although they are more expensive these days, and for 600 bucks, I would say it's an absolute steal. When I want a revolver that's reliable, I generally err towards Smith & Wesson. I do love the look of the Colts and I shoot them a lot on the channel, but the reality is the Smith & Wesson guns have always been much more reliable for me personally. Now, Ruger has been a reliable gun too, but I've been shooting Smiths for about as long as I've been able to walk, so I trust these guns with my life, and I think you can too. It just has a very solid feel to the gun. It's a heavy gun. It's over 40 ounces, so you have to be prepared for that, but if you're shooting full power 357 Magnum through it, you're going to appreciate it. Overall, I would consider this one of the best revolvers for self-defense that you can get, partly because it's affordable, partly because it comes with all the features you need. It's durable, it's reliable, it's been personally tested by me, and it has quite a lot of punch in that 357 Magnum as well. So even though you're a little short on ammunition capacity, the power makes up for it. If you're looking for old school reliable, you absolutely can't go wrong with the 686. Alright, so there won't be any honorable mentions to this list, although there's many I could do, because we do plan on doing a second list down the road at some point. That being said, to get into the number 1 gun, I am going to be talking about my Glock 34. Now, I know Glock is as basic as a white chick ordering a pumpkin spice latte, but whatever works, works. Now, if there's a gun that I've shot more than the CQB, it's probably the Glock 34. This is actually my newest version of the 34. We have almost 1,000 rounds through it. I have my previous agency arms. Before that, I had one done by Jaegerworks. Before that, I had a stock Gen 4. Before that, I had a stock Gen 3, which I used to shoot USPSA in production when I very first started, before I figured out shadow shot a little better. That being said, the Glock 34 is an extremely reliable, durable, accurate, and awesome gun for self-defense. It really has everything you need and nothing you don't. The Glock 34 has a 5¼ inch barrel. It comes with the standard Glock sights, but options like this fiber optic front and blacked out rear from Tag Precision are available. Now, the one thing I would say lacks on the 34 is a little bit of texture, but luckily for you, there are many companies that can easily fix that. A, you can stipple it, B, you can silicone carbide it, but if you want to take it back off, I would say these handle-it grips are very, very solid, and if you don't like those, they also have Talon grips as well. The new ones have the MOS optic mounting system, so if you want to put an optic on it, you absolutely can. It's got a rail for lights, same old Glock trigger, same old Glock reliability. It is a polymer frame striker-fired pistol in 9mm, although they have different models in 40, and you can even get one in 10mm as well if 9mm is not enough for you. Now, the Glock 34 has a 17 to 19 to whatever you want capacity, because you can get base plates that go up an awful long way. Now, the Glock 34 is a super lightweight gun, coming in at around 26 ounces, so even though it's got the long boy barrel, you could actually carry this all day and not be too uncomfortable. However, I probably would recommend going down to a Glock 26 or a Glock 19 because it's going to be a little bit more comfortable. Luckily for you, this has magazine compatibility with all of the 9mm Glock models that are double stacked, so if you want to get this one like John Wick and you want to get the tiny little 26 like John Wick, you can roll like Keanu and still have a good concealed carry gun and a solid home defense gun. Now, the Glock 34 is super shootable because of its long barrel, because when you get into Glocks, you have to overcompensate your grip a little bit. You have to break it over center, and that, for me, makes a little more aggressive stance, and it feels like it shoots pretty soft for me, which is why I've always really liked these guns. Now, the Glock is known for its track record. That's why it's at #1. It's been carried by almost every law enforcement agency in the United States. It's carried all over the world. Special forces groups like the Navy SEALs or Dev Group carry these, even though they're not issued them. They buy them themselves and carry them, and that's because of its track record of durability, reliability, and also its extreme lightweight and good capacity to accuracy to recoil ratio. That's why you see Glocks all over the place, because they just work, they're relatively affordable, and they do everything that you need. They also have the parts compatibility, they have the magazine compatibility, and holsters for them are literally everywhere. So if you're looking for a solid 9mm home defense gun, it's really, really tough to go wrong with the Glock 34. If I missed out any guns that seemed obvious to you, let me know your list in the comment section below. If you want to see any other lists like this, let me know what you think. Please like and subscribe, help out your local homeless shelters, and remember to recycle. I'll check you later. What the fuck is that thing? Anyway, that was creepy.
We got all sorts of new bugs out here.
Yeah, we do. I've never seen that fucking thing in my life. Look like Starship Troopers in here.